This is the EPOS Audio B20 4-polar pattern streaming microphone, and to cut a long story short, it's pretty damn good. In the box you'll find the microphone itself, its included desktop stand, and a sufficiently long 2.9 meter cable. I must say I absolutely love the gunmetal aesthetics from EPOS, and I'm really glad they've carried it over to this mic as it matches a bunch of other peripherals on my desk. Now, as far as condensers go, the B20 is quite chunky, weighing in at around 382 grams without the stand and 498 with. But that said, build quality is certainly on point, and again, did I mention its understated design is kinda beautiful. As for the specs that matter, it can record in 24-bit at 48 kHz with a frequency response of 50 to 20,000 Hz. It's also compatible with PC, Mac and PlayStation 4 out of the box, and that's just like their GSP 670 and GTW 270 hybrids that I've reviewed, but before you ask, no, I've not got a PS5 to test. On the B20 itself, and facing you whilst recording, you'll find a dedicated mute button that makes no noise when pushed in, and an accompanying LED indicator that's either white or red, but not overly bright, which is great. Below that is a volume dial, which will work in tandem with the auxiliary jack underneath, and provides more than enough power for my GSP 601 headset, to which I leave it around 20% volume in Windows. Now, whilst you don't have to use this, and it is completely optional, through EPOS software you will be able to adjust a bunch of additional features, such as zero latency side tone monitoring, and that's with a separate volume slider, in addition to some other stuff we'll look at later. Now, behind the B20 you'll find a dial to adjust its gain, which is something that only really needs to be done once, and I settled at 40% at around 12.5 centimeters from my mouth, which is what you're listening to now with no processing in its cardioid polar pattern pickup mode. Finally, the dial below gain will enable you to swap between all the different recording modes, which we'll look at in a moment. Now, it's up to you as to whether you use the included stand, but unless you absolutely have to, I'd always recommend grabbing a boom arm to avoid desk vibrations and be further away from noisy mechanical keyboards. That's not to say the stand doesn't have its place, plus the mic features an inbuilt shock mount which does the job, and that, along with all the pickup patterns thanks to the 3 internal capsules, definitely adds versatility. Its cardioid mode, and the one we've been using thus far, is designed to primarily pick up audio from the front. This is of course perfect for streamers, as it should mean less noise from both the back and sides, and that's of course taken into consideration how soundproofed your recording environment is, to which mine is not, at all. This is a microphone test of the B20 on its included stand. It's placed in front of my G915 TKL keyboard with linear switches, and it's roughly 12.5 to 14 centimeters from my mouth. I'm now pretending to kill everyone whilst my teammates complain about all the keyboard noise, and now mouse 1 and 2, which is off to the right. This is a microphone test of the B20 on its included stand, placed behind the G915 TKL keyboard, and is roughly 40 centimeters from my mouth. I'm now pretending to kill everyone with my keyboard and now my mouse, whilst my teammates complain about all the noise. This is a microphone test of the B20 on my Rode PSA1 boom arm. Similar to the first test, it's about 12.5 centimeters from my mouth, except now it's much further away from both my keyboard and mouse, and picking up far less vibrations from the desk. I'm now going to pretend to kill everybody using the keyboard and now the mouse, except because the noise is reduced, my teammates and stream should be much happier. Its bidirectional mode is designed to pick up audio from both the front and back, essentially cutting it straight down the middle so there's no crossover. This would be best suited for podcasts with 2 people sitting on each side of the microphone, as it should help distinguish between the 2 voices. Its stereo mode is much like bidirectional, except it doesn't cut things straight down the middle, and you instead get that traditional ASMR style left and right separation, i.e. when listening to the mic, things will either appear in the left or right ear cup. This may also offer a slightly wider or fuller sound, but at least for me personally, I can't say I have a use case for it. And finally, omnidirectional mode is designed to pick up audio from all around it. So imagine Bruce Wayne's Justice League round table and placing this in the middle of everyone, and that's pretty much its use case. Unfortunately, we're in the middle of a pandemic though, and I have one friend anyway, so here are some guinea pigs eating some vegetables on the table, because why not? You can also download the EPOS Gaming Suite, which is the same software used for all their products, and this will enable you to update the firmware and fully customize the B20's playback equalizer and microphone settings. With that comes a voice enhancer, gain, zero latency side tone monitoring, noise gate, and noise cancellation with 2 steps of 50 and 100, but this does result in an audible downgrade, so unless you've got something constant in noise like an air conditioner, definitely avoid using it, and even then, I might consider a headset mic or a dynamic mic instead. The voice enhancer though will enable you to visualize your vocal EQ and see any areas that might be lacking or overemphasized, and then you can add some in if necessary. There are a couple of presets such as warm and obviously clear, but I'd always recommend going in and creating a custom one once you've started from a base to something that you think sounds good. You might not even think this sounds good, and this is something I created to my voice, and again, I leave it as off anyway and do anything in post that I need to. I am happy they've added the noise gate and carried it over from the JSP670, and you do have a nice little indicator line here to help you set it up. And this is going to cut off the microphone when no noise is being made until a certain threshold. What I would have liked to have seen is compression built in, maybe also working in tandem with the LED indicator on the front to let you know when you're clipping and automatically reduce those levels. Perhaps this is something they could add in a future software and firmware update or a version 2, so fingers crossed. One annoying point I do have to mention though is that currently, as of 12th of July 2021, you do have to ensure the B20 is set as the default device in Windows in order for it to show in software. So for example, if I come in here and select my system, Go XLR, you can see the microphone has vanished and I can no longer click it. Now this would not normally be a problem, but this is the audio output and not the microphone as the default device. So if you're somebody that has, let's say, a high-end pair of headphones and you're outputting to a dedicated sound card or interface, then this could be troublesome for you. But at least for me, I think the B20 sounds great out of the box for my voice, and I run pretty much everything as stock anyway, so it's ultimately a non-issue. That said, I did pass along this feedback to EPOS, who came back very quickly to say they will be addressing the default device constraints as part of their ongoing development and support process, which is great to hear, and I'll definitely create an update video if and when that happens. It's just, I had to mention it for those buying today, but as I'm sure you'll agree, a sign of great things to come. In all, I'm incredibly satisfied with what's on offer here, and had EPOS added an optional XLR input, then I'd absolutely without a doubt add it into my main setup today. And that's because I'd connect it to my Go XLR, which gives me individual control via sliders over my voice, Discord, Spotify and games, and that's with some live processing too. If I haven't already made it clear, I love the aesthetics, and I find the mic complements my voice whilst offering more versatility for content creation. So to give you an example as to how I'd use it, would be to reference my mouse reviews and click tests. Currently I have to flip and rotate my AT4040 as it records in cardioid only, but with the B20, life would be so much easier as I could instead just set it to omnidirectional and job's done. So if you're considering picking this up, and again I must tell you that different mics can suit different voices, then providing it's bought from an authorized retailer, you will be getting 2 years of EPOS international warranty. Ultimately, if you're looking for an all-in-one solution and have the disposable income to buy this at retail, then I'd say the B20 offers a great option for streamers no matter their level. Anyway, I know this has been somewhat of a short and sweet video, but in all honesty I could praise most of what EPOS launch all day, every day. I think they've knocked it out of the park for their first microphone, and with the opportunity to add more features through the EPOS software moving forward, I have to say the future's certainly looking as bright as ever for this company. Anyway, if you've enjoyed the video, then make sure to subscribe, and if you have any questions, then make sure to let me know down below and I'll get back to you. Don't forget, I do stream on Twitch, so make sure to stop by and get involved in the live discussion, and keep your eyes peeled for a look at the JSP601 in a dedicated video in the near future. For now though, take care, keep gaming, and I'll catch you in the next video.
First place.